Hello and welcome to episode 11 of the Blowout Sports Podcast. I'm Ryan Hayes.
And I'm Dylan Bracha.
We had a very good week of NFL football. 11 out of the 14 games were one-score games.
Wow. And I mean, we had 5 field goal game winners on Sunday and 1 on Monday. We'll get into that one later. What was your game of the week?
I had Browns-Ravens. They get it done in the divisional matchup. They were down early. They got it done. I mean, resilient game by Deshaun Watson.
Yeah.
Gritty, coming back.
What about that pick six they had on Lamar?
Yeah, everybody was against them. Everybody was against the Browns. I feel like down on them, but I mean,
we both picked the Ravens.
Right.
Like we were against them too.
Yeah, I mean,
but what a game. And I mean, divisional games go anywhere.
That's huge.
That division is going to be so much fun to watch the rest of the year.
The dynamics of the AFC North from what we thought it was going into the season have completely shifted.
Yeah.
Or even last week. Because last week we were like the Bengals are that shoe-in team.
Yeah.
And then I was kind of feeling the Steelers a little bit. And then they win. So they're up. And then the Bengals down.
Yeah.
And now the Browns over the Ravens.
Well, I mean, look, the Ravens, have they won a divisional game yet? I think they're 0-2.
Yeah.
So I mean, like that might kick them in the butt later on down the line. Like, yes, they have the best record. I think
they beat the Browns 28-3.
Oh, okay, so this was their second game against the Browns already. Man,
good on the Browns. I mean, and they beat the Bengals as well, 27-24.
Oh, okay.
Close game.
Wow.
So.
Damn, I'm tripping, but
so they got two.
Anyways, they've also lost to Pittsburgh.
Oh wait, no, that was last year.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I'm I messing this up? Okay.
Wait, no. They did. They also beat the Bengals 27-24 this year.
This year
that did happen.
That did happen.
Week
two.
Week two.
Okay. Well, not Jamar, but Joe Burrow was a little.
That was when the Bengals sucked.
Shaken up, right. So it's different, but it's a wide open division. That division's gonna be.
It's fun. They're all good too. It's not like, they're all mid. It's not the NFC South. It's actually competitive.
Yeah. I mean, every game has been good between them. Like even like just a defensive masterclass type game. Like the Steelers played a clinic on defense against the Ravens a couple weeks ago. I
felt like the Steelers were the weak link too, but I do too. They aren't.
I have them as the worst team in that division.
Probably,
but like their record says otherwise.
Like, how are you the worst team when you're like really tough and they don't have that offensive pizzazz going.
Well, I mean, they got a couple more division games they're gonna have to play, and they have to show up. And I mean, the Browns are firing right now.
Yeah, I like that they all have to play each other to win it. It's not relying on other teams to beat them. It's head to head.
Dude, all those teams could make the playoffs.
They go
realistically.
Very well, yeah. I mean, major playoff implications for the Bengals and that Texans. That's a huge loss.
That's my game of the week. Yeah, I picked Bengals Texans as the game of the week. CJ Stroud is my MVP. He's my MVP.
Oh my god!
I went from last week saying rookie of the year and closed the door to now he's jumping into MVP.
He is. I mean, it's hard to deny. I mean, he's I'm pulling up his stats right now, but he's up there.
He's I think 16-2 touchdown to interception ratio. He's looking to almost break every record there is for a rookie. Like he's on pace to beat Andrew Luck's yard record. I mean, he's got them in the playoffs right now. They're the 7 seed. They beat a good Bengals team to jump them in the playoff line.
I see what you're saying. I mean, if Stroud can keep it up and the Texans can make the playoffs, right now he's second in the NFL in passing yards, a 15-2 touchdown to interception ratio, which is definitely the best in the league.
It is.
And with that many attempts,
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's even close. I mean, Stroud probably is the MVP.
In my opinion, I don't think it's close. It's hard to give it to him, but look at what he's done to that team in general.
Right, he's changed everything.
That offense has become disgusting.
Can you imagine a rookie winning MVP? Has that ever happened?
It hasn't happened since Jim Brown, I think in 1957 or something like that. That's insane.
Yeah, no, that would be massive. I mean,
but look at the competition. It's Mahomes, Hurts, they like to shoe in those names, but he's playing better than them.
Yeah, it could be Hurts. I have to look at his rushing touchdowns and stuff. I mean, that might be
the interceptions are what, he's turning the ball over.
Right. We got to see Stroud, if he can keep it,
Yes, I know it's
the rest of the year.
Rookie of the year, I think is over, but the MVP, if he plays like this the rest of the year, I think he has a real chance.
Definitely. I don't think.
And he should have a real chance.
Absolutely. I mean, good for him. I mean, who saw this coming, really?
I mean, I liked him the best out of the draft for quarterbacks, but like I couldn't see him turning the Texans around like this.
Right. I mean, it's
a team effort,
really.
But like he's throwing the Nico Collins, Robert Woods, Dalton Schultz,
Noah Brown,
and Tank Dell. Like, I mean, like that's just not a loaded room that you're like, oh, they're dangerous. But he's making them look great. He's getting them the ball, and that defense is stepping up. It's a team effort, but like. That team is just so different than it was last year.
No, it really is. I mean, good for them for finding their quarterback. He'll be there for a long time.
Oh yeah, if they can keep him, get him under contract. I mean, he could win the MVP this year, and whoever knows how many more times. I mean, like he's just playing so good.
Absolutely. I was writing my notes today.
Yeah.
Time to panic in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And then they did. They fired their OC.
Yeah, and I was talking to a Bills fan, my good friend of mine, and he was like clamoring for it during the game.
Okay.
He wanted him gone. Just like play calls were bad.
Bad play call.
They threw one. It was right before half, and this gave him that field goal. Mm-hmm. He threw the pick, and it was it was to the smaller Hardy and triple double coverage. Like the safety just read it perfectly.
Yeah, I wasn't sure why Josh Allen threw that ball.
I don't know either. I don't know. And Diggs didn't have a lot of looks, and I feel like that's a big miss. They benched James Cook after the fumble for like half of the first. You can't be doing that to your best running back.
Yeah. I was trying to defend Josh Allen for a long time. Like, oh, he's a gunslinger. This is what you're going to get from him. But, man, I mean, there's been some good. I mean, he's completing 70% of his passes at 2,600, but 11 picks through – what, not as many games?
Yeah, this looks like shades of his like rookie year. Mm-hmm. I mean, he didn't have as much touchdowns, but I mean, like he's just not playing good.
Yeah, and the turnovers are a problem.
You can't just just put that on the OC or anything.
And they're not 4 touchdown, 1 interception games. Those are different, honestly. If you're gunslinging and you're actually producing, I mean, he's gone over 300 yards 1, 2, 3 times this year. 3 times
for the
Josh
gunslinger.
Allen.
Everybody picked him to win MVP.
That's ridiculous. I mean, that's actually ridiculous that he's only gone over. That's the big stat everybody's got to be looking at.
Yeah,
really.
And I mean, looking at this game, it wasn't the Broncos outplaying them. It was the Bills just not playing good. Absolutely. 4 turnovers on the game, and it was pretty much self-induced every time. It was bad. And they almost had a 5th one with James Cook's fumble where he almost ran it to the house. It was just a really bad Bills game against a bad team.
It was ugly. I mean, the Bills are struggling. I mean, they've lost 3 in a row.
Yeah.
And now they're 5-5. They're in danger of missing the playoffs if they can't turn it around. And they're a really good team.
Yeah.
That are clamoring to
still on the schedule for them. The Chiefs, the Eagles, the Jets next week, the Pats, who they've both lost to. I'm not saying they're real threats, but they've lost to both of those teams.
Right.
Like their schedule's not easy. I think they still have a Miami game. It's a hard road for them.
Huh. Yeah, the Bills, it's a different vibe too. It's like you can kind of feel that they're like, I don't know, the Bills were intimidating and scary.
I'm not nearly as intimidated at that team.
Yeah, no. They're almost taking on a different identity with all these tough games they have going on too. Because the Bills aren't going to be under 500 probably.
I can't imagine.
Games, so they're probably.
But like you never know.
7-7 at best. I mean, we're used to the Bills being that 13-win team, But
it's not happening this year. No. I don't think it's gonna happen.
We're past that point. They've lost 5 games.
Well, I'm talking just in general. Double digits might not be a goal of theirs.
Even the vibe too. They don't have the feeling. Even because the Bengals are 5-4, and that Texans loss does change things a little bit for me. But like. They still had that feeling of like a really fierce, competitive.
The Bengals looked really good against the Bills. They looked good against the Niners. Like
I'm not taking it away. The Bengals are still that team.
I would say,
but like
their road got a little harder.
Right. That's kind of my point. But they're my example. They're a team like the Jags don't even have that feeling to me, especially after losing 34-3.
Obliterated.
That's embarrassing.
Yeah.
I mean that's embarrassing when you're a team. It's almost worse when you are winning games
good team.
And then you lose like that.
They were hot, too.
It's a gut punch. It's like it's a back down to earth real quick thing.
Well, I just got to say the Niners are back, though. I mean, that bye week, I've been saying it was the best thing they could have had. And, oh, my goodness.
Well, they needed it.
And, I mean, the only thing that didn't happen for them was Christian McCaffrey didn't get his touchdown.
They were going for it.
And they went for it 4 straight plays, you know? It was crazy.
That was funny.
But they got everything else they wanted, 3 points allowed, 34, I think they had.
To go on the road and beat a playoff team like that.
Oh, yeah.
That's just doesn't get
Brock Purdy looked like himself again.
That's worth 3 wins. That's worth 3 normal wins.
Yeah.
And just in terms of what it does for the team.
They really needed that, and that's huge. Right. It really is huge.
And I want to give a little shout out, a quick one. Sam Howell put on a show.
He did.
Honestly, like the Seahawks are one of the best defenses in the league, and I was expecting Sam Howell to have a terrible day, and he didn't. To me, if he keeps doing that, he's done enough to be the starter.
Yeah.
They might not do that. They new owner. Everything might want to, bring in a new face, but Sam Howell has definitely done enough.
Yeah, just because he's not winning all of these games, he's played well. I mean, look at his games against the Eagles.
Yards, leading the league.
That's pretty damn good.
Some great games, against the Eagles. It's almost like he plays up to the competition, and that's not always a good thing. It seems that he's playing down at times because he has had some he's had some stinkers, but. He's had some
he's still young.
Games.
I mean, you never know what you're going to get out of a guy.
It's his second year. We've accelerated the growth process, and Stroud is not going to help us at all.
Yeah.
It's not normal for a rookie.
Bryce Young's not playing anywhere near what Stroud's doing, and he was the first overall.
Bryce Young is playing like a rookie, and he should.
And I mean, flashback to what Trevor Lawrence did his rookie year. We're not. Josh Allen is just kind of hitting that again.
Yeah.
But I mean, guys go up and down in their career.
Bryce Young's footwork just puzzles me so much. He just goes back so casual with his feet flat, and that's fine if you're going this way, but I'm
not sure. That's just a mess.
It's wild to me.
Yeah.
And I'm not a QB expert or anything, but it does not look good. And when you have your feet back like that, the defense knows the ball's going over.
Yeah,
you can't
come on.
physically throw it over there. You can, but it's just going to be a lollipop.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would personally. And he threw like that in college too.
Yeah.
I feel like his footwork.
Well, you're making shout outs. I want to shout out the returning Kyler Murray.
Shout out to Kyler Murray.
I mean, he balled out. He balled out and got a dub
over the Falcons. I mean, that's big. That's huge for the Tank Bowl. I mean, it's huge for massive implications. Good for Kyler. Has Call of Duty come out?
I think it comes out.
Okay, so that doesn't count.
I mean,
okay,
right?
I was just seeing if he broke that trend too.
It's out, but I don't know if it counts towards the trend.
No.
This is the week where it's like.
So we'll see next week for real.
Right.
But,
well, he played Spider-Man, so maybe he got out of the system.
Okay, good for him. Yeah. No, he's broken out. No, good for Kyler. That's big.
That was a great game from him.
From the ACL, looked good. Made a few big runs too.
Yeah.
Scored a touchdown. Good game.
Yeah, it was a great game from him. And I mean, now you're gonna start thinking as a Cardinals fan, what is their draft process? A lot of people talked about a quarterback in the draft. Now, I don't know. Maybe they re-signed Kyler, and that's their guy, and they think something else.
We'll see. What if Kyler goes on a tear here, wins a few games? You probably want to keep him around because he is under contract, right?
I think so.
Yeah, they re-signed him. Yeah, yeah, they definitely did because he's owed $30 million when he played this game.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's under contract. That's your quarterback.
I just know they talked about it, especially mid-season. I heard rumblings of them looking at a quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, he plays good. I mean, that's not the worst thing, really. I mean, and good for Gannon. I know there was probably some clashing between the management. Are we even going to play this guy this year? Is it worth it? And I'm sure the head coach wanted to.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, you got to see what you're going to get with him.
Yeah, you want to see your guys, and that's ultimately probably good for football.
I mean, I'm glad he's back.
Yeah.
I mean, he put on a show.
Yeah, no, Kyler's he should be playing,
Yeah.
He should be playing. That's good. Raiders keep winning with the Dameon Pierce.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I didn't really, expect anything different. I mean, I had them winning.
Yeah.
It was just a bad game. That game was just really boring.
Definitely. I mean, that's how they're gonna go for.
I mean, the Jets are gonna Jets. I think at this point.
Goals.
Yeah, it was bad. It was just a bad game.
It's always a stinger when you don't even score a touchdown.
Yeah, and I mean that marks 2 games in a row.
No touchdowns.
No touchdowns.
Oof. I mean, that's frustrating as a fan, too, because scoring touchdowns is exciting.
Yes.
You don't get excited when your team scores a field goal.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the story of the Jets this year. I mean, not scoring touchdowns sucks.
Yeah,
it's not fun.
It really sucks, for sure.
So let me pose this question. Aaron Rodgers has been talking a lot about coming back. He even just said, I saw on the Pat McAfee show, he wants to be back with the team by Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And he wants to play mid-December. Is there even a reason for him to come back? Do you think they actually have a shot?
That's a good question. I hadn't thought about it through that lens in a while. At this point, yes, they're going to need to win a couple games. They're going to need to win some games with Zach Wilson, so they're going to either need to beat the Bills or the Dolphins. That's a non-starter if they're not able to do those, because then they're 4-7. If they lose the next two, which is quite the possibility. So if he's aiming to come back, then he's coming back probably against the Dolphins on December 17th or maybe the Commanders. And the Jets, if nothing changes, are probably 5-8 or 5-9.
Well, let me run down just their next couple games. Yeah. So they have the Bills, which isn't a guaranteed win, but maybe. We'll Dolphins after that.
Okay.
The Falcons, which, I mean, I think they can win, but if their offense isn't going to be there by then,
It's not a given.
The Texans, red hot CJ Stroud. Tough. And then, as you said, December 17th makes the Dolphins again. And then Christmas Eve is the Commanders. And then they still have the Browns and then a throwaway game against the Pats. So it's like, what will their record be come that point? I don't know.
Probably out of playoff contention.
Right?
Probably 5-8, 5-9. Maybe 6-8.
They're not in a great spot right now.
Yeah.
They're out. They're not in the hunt as much as these other teams that are above them.
Yeah, no, I probably not. It's probably not going to happen. And even from the medical perspective,
how as a doctor can you say yes?
It's the best thing that can happen to him if he wants to come back next year, which he does. Yeah, and that'll be good. He'll be probably
a lot of time,
fully recovered.
But I just can't imagine putting your body out there and risking it.
No, especially if there's
for a
no
waste
point.
Of time. Yeah,
he's not going to do it if there's no reason. Rodgers isn't an idiot. I mean,
I would agree. But with him talking about this so much, is it just to make the Jets players think we got to play for something? Is that what it is?
Probably the biggest thing at the end of it. This motivates you. Hey, Rodgers is coming back,
But he's been doing this. Yeah. And they're still losing these games.
But I mean, you do your parent. He's almost their parent. He's the oldest guy on the team.
I guess.
He's probably older than Robert Saleh. How old is Robert Saleh?
I'm not sure. That's. Let me hear this.
No, Robert Saleh is only he's 5 years older than him. They're peers.
Yeah, they're peers. It's just I don't know. He keeps talking this talk, and it's I don't know if you really have a leg in the fight here.
Yeah, no. I mean, I think he's doing the right thing.
I guess, yeah. I mean, he's not saying he won't come back, but to almost put a date on it and say mid-December and he's going to be back full-time Thanksgiving time,
it's scaring doctors around the world. I watched this breakdown. He's like, this doesn't make sense.
It doesn't.
And it doesn't, but...
And as all people do against Aaron Rodgers, there's conspiracies that he's faking this injury. I've heard that.
Well, I mean, we saw his calf reverberate. So.
Yeah, I don't know why people even think of these things. It's insane.
Well, the internet's a funny place, honestly. We had the sad news coming in about Leighton Vander Esch. He's got the that neck injury that caused him to wear that coat.
Yeah, his career might be over.
Yeah. That's too bad. He's struggled with injuries. Always been a solid player, good guy, Boise State linebacker, but never really got it right. I mean, he always had the injuries, but
he's been a great player every time he plays.
Yeah, no, he's always been good when he's on the field, but he's got some sort of chronic spinal problem. So
scary, man.
Yeah, no, it's probably best he's,
Yeah, I hope he's getting a lot of care, but don't come back if it's gonna risk your life, But two big losses in that Cowboys defense now with Trayvon Diggs out all year, and now him.
Micah's head's out of it.
Yeah, Micah's head has been out of it. I don't like these claims he's been making.
Yeah, he's been on one. Is he on a podcast or what is he?
So he streams, I think, on Twitch or something.
What does he play?
I don't know. Madden, I imagine.
Yeah.
I don't watch them.
Yeah.
But you get these ridiculous takes getting posted online, and it's like, I get supporting Dak. You know, he likes to come at all these other quarterbacks and say, well, Dak's better, or if this was Dak, you know, they'd be. It's like, okay. But like this one, he puts CeeDee Lamb, top 3 wide receivers. That's okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm okay with you standing by your guy.
Right.
But his other 2 is Tyreek Hill and A.J. Brown, and he's removed Justin Jefferson from that list. I don't know. I can't agree with that. You know, I don't think CeeDee Lamb's top 3. That's, you know, Justin Jefferson's just been hurt. I would still put Justin Jefferson as the best wide receiver in the league.
Where did Micah go to college?
Bama?
He went Penn State.
Penn State?
Penn State.
Okay. I don't watch too much college ball.
Because I thought maybe he went to Alabama and it was like a rivalry thing with LSU or something.
Oh, okay, maybe, yeah.
All right, he's just throwing shade at Jefferson.
I mean,
he's not the guy you want to throw shade at. I mean,
I'm praying. It sounds like he's coming back this week.
I'm hoping
off IR.
So.
I'm hoping so as well. I think the league wants him back in general. He's just so exciting.
Yeah.
And they playing the Broncos. I mean, who doesn't want to see Pat Surtain against Justin Jefferson?
Jefferson's gonna eat.
I would agree. I would love to see it. And Dobbs has been playing great. I'd love to see it.
Surtain's been struggling, I think, a little bit. I could be wrong on that, but it's just felt that way.
He hasn't done anything crazy this year. I mean, he's still a good corner. And I mean,
he's
I didn't see like the coverage breakdown, but Diggs didn't have a lot of receptions.
Yeah, Surtain's down to a 71.8 on PFF. Take that for what you will.
Yeah, there's a lot of non-PFF believers out there.
Well, they're wrong.
Yeah.
The PFF isn't gospel, but it's pretty good.
I mean,
you're not
what
gonna
else?
find a
Yeah,
better
what are you
way.
gonna argue?
You're looking at Madden ratings, you know.
That's what a lot of people do.
You can break down tape, but who has the time? They're doing that.
They are doing it for you.
You know, I mean, it's not terrible, but if you want to get a quick, how is he doing? You know, it doesn't tell you everything either.
No.
Like you're not figuring. Oh, it says linebacker. You don't know what you're getting.
Yeah.
You're gonna Sam, Mike. You're gonna have to figure that out. But like you get a good. Okay, does he make plays? Yes. Does he not?
It's tough because you can't add the situational in because they had Josh Allen I think last week as the QB1 and they might have even this week. I didn't see what he was ranked, but it's just like. Okay, there's quarterbacks playing better than him, and yes, he's putting up stats or whatever, but like
sometimes things are misleading. Too. It's about like how you're playing in your system too. It's like there's so much that goes into it. They're not just these arbitrary numbers.
Yeah, a lot of people like to think that.
Yeah, but Surtain's down 15 points. If that means anything,
it doesn't really mean. I still think he's a great corner, and I think everybody would love to have him on their team.
Still, someone you definitely want to.
I mean, I don't want him guarding me.
But yeah, he's just been having just a little bit more of a down year.
Yeah.
But I just think Jefferson's going to eat. But we'll see.
I do too.
It's just those one-on-ones. Mike Evans. Okay, what's next?
Yeah, worst international game of the year?
Yeah, that
was pretty bad.
That was maybe my friend Patriots fan said this is the worst pick of all time. And could be. Not the Zappy, the Mac Jones.
Okay, that one was bad. The Zappy one was bad too, though.
Yeah,
good fake.
I realized I had to preface
spike.
it when I said that was the worst pick.
That Zappy one wasn't good either, though. I mean, I felt really scared watching it because I'm like, no, don't lead us down the field and win. Yeah. And he does that fake spike, and everybody was in agreement. Good fake spike.
Yeah.
Poor execution. Triple coverage. They had a wide open guy.
Just so many guys down. I don't know what he saw.
He didn't get the ball there. It was underthrown, but it was 10-6.
There was weird.
They got to refund people their tickets.
No, man. Literally.
It was bad.
Bailey Zappi, didn't he say something? Bill Belichick disagrees with Bailey Zappi's take on something on the interception. Bill Belichick had a different view. He saw a penalty on Zappi's pick. Zappi said there should have been a flag.
Yeah, he was clamoring for a flag when he threw it.
What flag did he think there
Maybe passing. I don't know. I don't care because we lost, and that's what I wanted to see happen. It was just an abysmal. I wanted the Colts to kind of march all over us. You know, the defense played better than expected. And then they cut Jack Jones. That hurt. I don't know. I was a fan of his. I still am. He got signed with the Raiders. So good for him. Hope he gets a real second chance. I hope he doesn't end up making a mistake in Vegas.
Yeah, that's a good point because he's not even to say it, but the character concerns have been there even before the draft.
I mean,
process.
I was about to say his college experience. He had some crazy moments. So
right, and but the Raiders are 5-5. You know.
Yeah, I mean, why not pick up a corner if they're in the hunt?
And it makes sense. You just got a player as your coach. You know. They bring in Jack Jones off waivers. It makes sense. Maybe it doesn't work out. Maybe it does. I mean,
it doesn't hurt them to pick him up off waivers.
They're gonna be paying his contract, but what is he, a 1-year deal?
Yeah, so. I mean, he's a rookie, so I don't know what it would be.
Yeah,
he's second year now, but he was a rookie. So I'm
surprised he got all the way down to the. I mean, and I'm also not because it wouldn't make sense for a team that's
higher
3 and 6. The Titans don't want him to get Jack Jones right now necessarily. You know. But I guess it makes sense that the Raiders are the team.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad he got picked up. I mean, he's talented. You know, he picked 6th Aaron Rodgers last year. And how many people can do that in Lambeau? Very rare. So I'm glad to see him on a team.
Absolutely.
Just wish it was ours.
And just the combined score, everybody's saying it, 89-17 on the year, Giants Cowboys.
Man, that was just brutal. I mean, we touched on the bad takes from the Cowboys, but they just kind of owned them. That game was just, one-sided. The only complaint probably was Tony Pollard didn't get a lot of usage compared to the rest. It was just all in the air.
Right. Are the Giants the worst team in the league?
Probably. Are they the worst team in the league?
Probably, right?
Man, they're pretty bad.
I mean, because they're losing to bad teams too. I mean, they beat the Commanders 14-7. That was with Leonard Williams, though.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a good
and Tyrod was the quarterback. I don't know. I don't know what we're getting out of DeVito yet. He hasn't been tested for real.
Well, he's probably not that good.
I don't think so, but his first game he got thrown into last week, and then this week he gets the Cowboys. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see this week. I mean, I'm just saying he's probably just a replacement level quarterback.
Yeah, I agree, but maybe he shows a little upside.
I don't know anything.
I don't think.
About him.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know anything about him.
Yeah.
But let me just ask you these. I got a couple teams. I want to ask your opinion. Okay. Are they going to make the playoffs?
Okay.
Let's start with the Texans. We know my opinion of C.J. Stroud, but can they actually make it to the playoffs?
Can they and will they are different questions. Yes. Can they? Definitely. Will they? That depends on the standings. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think the Steelers are kind of in.
They're in right now.
One of the wild cards for me. I think they kind of own one of those. I think the Browns own one too. I think two.
Yeah, but as fast as the Steelers and the Browns have them, they could also lose them.
Oh, I know.
Their race is still very much in question.
I mean, it depends. The Texans play the Cardinals, the Jags, the Broncos, the Jets, the Titans, Browns, Titans. Oh, yeah.
They're kind of in control. I mean, they're kind of in control of their destiny. If they want to make it, they could.
If Stroud keeps playing, they totally should, honestly. Okay. And if the Texans don't make the playoffs, it will be because they lost a lot of bad games.
Yeah, honestly. I mean, they did lose a couple bad ones early on.
I'm going to say, Texans should make the playoffs.
Okay, so there you go. That's one. Don't forget it.
I know.
How about the Bills?
No.
I am in agreement. I don't see them in a playoff spot. That being said, they still could.
Yeah, schedule going out is just too
Their
tough.
schedule is brutal.
If they make it, they'll earn it.
They're going to have to earn it, but I mean, at what cost? You know, then you're playing on the road every game.
Right.
Obviously, they want to.
Yeah,
but
no doubt. Yeah.
It's a road for them. So no for them. How about the Bengals?
That's the toughest one. That's the toughest call. The Bengals they'll find a way.
I would like to say they do.
I'm going to be upset if they don't. I just think they'll find a way.
I mean, they just started out so bad, and that could be the driving factor. You can't start off your season like that.
It's going to come down to week 17. Whoever wins Browns-Bengals week 17.
Yeah, that really could. That really could be the defining factor with that one.
And it's between those two teams, ultimately.
Yeah.
And honestly, when that game comes down to it, I'm thinking the Bengals win it.
Yeah. So I don't know if the Steelers have as big of an in as they do. I don't know the rest of their schedule off the top of my head, but I don't know if they're on paper they're not better than the Bengals or it's the Browns, but they're winning games. I'm not gonna take it away from them. It's just I don't. I don't know.
We'll see. We're gonna have such a clearer picture because they play the Browns and the Bengals as their next 2 games.
Like that's tough.
And then they play the Cardinals, the Patriots, the Colts, the Ravens, and the Seahawks. So these division games, man.
It's gonna come down to that. They lose a couple, they're out.
Yeah, that's what. Well, we haven't gotten the chance to see the Steelers and the Bengals,
and that's gonna be one. That's one. I mean, the Steelers have had their number in the past. They've had Joe Burrow, but in the past. So
Bengals are kind of in over the Steelers for me.
Okay.
I have like the Bengals above the Steelers.
Yeah, right. They just don't have the record.
Steelers above the Browns.
I mean, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
This is must win this week for the Steelers.
Ooh.
If they lose, they're done.
Damn. And aren't they what? What is their record?
6-3, but
6-3 at a must-win game this week. But it is huge
though. Like, because then they're down 2 to the Browns. They lose the tiebreaker to the Browns,
and it's a divisional game in general. You know how those tiebreakers go.
You just. If you're the Steelers, you cannot allow the Browns to get to 7-3 with 2 games in hand over you. You just can't do it.
Yeah.
Because then that team is better than you, basically.
Yeah.
And to me, that's the only team they're better than, you know? So you just can't let that happen if you're the Steelers. Huge game.
All right, so the Bengals, will they make it?
Yes.
Yes? Okay. Now let's switch over. I got interesting. The Seahawks, they aren't going to win the division. They're not going to catch the Niners. They've had their 1 week ahead of them.
Oh, well, they're both 6-3.
Yeah, but
have they lost to the Niners twice?
No, they've yet to play them. Now, before you just say yes or no, they still have, like, in a 4-week stretch, they play the Niners, the Eagles, the Niners, and the Cowboys, like in that order or something like that.
The Seahawks do?
Yes, that's like their end of the year.
Oh. I see.
It's like one of their last 4-week stretches.
Niners, Seahawks. Niners, Cowboys, Niners.
Okay, and Eagles. Yeah.
Huh.
Brutal. That's a brutal 4-game stretch. They could lose all 4.
Are they still okay if they do though?
They could be.
1, 2.
But you're playing for one of 2 playoff spots because they're not going to win their division, and the Cowboys have one locked up.
To me, they're like at least 9 wins, and that's probably enough.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But actually,
there's some teams that might make waves.
So, I don't want to get ahead. It's tough that you're asking me Seahawks first. Can I say 2 that I do have in?
Sure, because it might be the other team I was going to ask.
Right. I have Vikings and Cowboys.
There you go. Vikings was the other team I was going to ask. Can Dobbs get them there is the question.
Those are the 2 I have in. And then there's nobody else. So, yeah, the Seahawks do. What if
the Bucks or Saints have a good enough record towards the end?
That's a good point. They'll probably end up in
because one of those, that division's going to be open all year.
So the Bucks
between them
play
2
the
and
Niners, Colts, Panthers. They got the Panthers twice, so that's probably 2.
They just have to win some of these games. Like they've lost a couple of that.
Got to beat the Packers and you got to beat the Saints.
Yeah, and they've already done it once.
They did beat, or did they beat? Yes,
they
crushed the
but
Saints.
They lost to the Falcons. It's just one of those things where like they've shot themselves in the foot there.
All right, I'm gonna give them 1 division win there in the rest of the game. So that's 1, and then they have 2, 3, 4. So they have at least probably 4, and then they got to beat like the Colts or something. So then that would get them to 5. They're at 4 right now.
I wanted to pose it to you because like the race is like very open.
I like the Seahawks. Really open. Like I like the Seahawks.
I do too.
Probably. But the Bucks are gonna have an outside shot and try to get the back door there. Probably. Maybe they just win the division too. Maybe that's not relevant because maybe the Saints start dropping.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the Saints are in the first division spot for them now, but the Bucks are 8 seed on the hunt. You know, like anything can happen.
Yeah, that's kind of open.
I like their schedule scares me, and that's why I was like, maybe they don't make it.
It's probably clear. I mean, none of these lowly NFC teams have any shot of turning it around. To be honest, like maybe the Falcons. Like honestly,
yeah, I mean they've shown moments. I mean, it's tough.
They don't have it.
The NFC is less open. Like the AFC has teams that are going to be good that don't make the playoffs.
Right. Yeah. The power balance is pretty extreme.
It's really extreme. I mean, we got teams in the hunt. They're 5-5 and they're like, look at the Raiders. They're the 11 seed. They're in the hunt. Like, and they're 500.
They're legitimately in the hunt. And
Bills
like,
are 5
Raiders,
and 5 in the hunt. The Colts, they're in the hunt, 9 seed. The Bengals aren't even in the playoffs at this moment.
Who do the Raiders play the rest of the year? Do they have a tough road?
That's something for the schedule to look at.
Raiders, yeah, they got Dolphins. Oh,
That's
Dolphins,
tough.
Chiefs.
That's tough.
Okay.
Yeah, look at their division.
Vikings, Chargers, Chiefs, Colts, Broncos.
Their fun run might be over.
Could be.
I think it's over.
Yeah, probably.
I think it's over.
I think like
I think this is it.
Yeah.
I think this is it for them. Maybe they get a couple out of that, but I never had them in the playoff picture come the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean they took advantage of the 2 New York teams on their schedule, but you got to.
I mean, they could have had more wins at this point.
You got to play that team with 70 points. I mean, yeah, you lost to the Bears. I mean, probably not looking good.
Yeah, I mean, like they went through some struggles early season.
Yeah,
so.
I mean, that was with McDaniels. I think they are.
Oh yeah, they found a better identity at least.
It was funny. It was watching. Max Crosby said on Pat McAfee that Spillane like could never make a catch or the interceptions, and then he did. It was really funny. It was like he had like brick hands or something.
Yeah, I mean they seem to be having more fun. Well, let's see how those times change as the season goes on.
Yeah, we will see.
It's going to be a little tougher.
Right.
You want to do some picks?
Definitely.
Let's do it. Last week, I edged you out 10-9.
I've been struggling. It's been a hard year.
It has, and I was surprised. I thought you had me this week.
I thought I did, too.
I thought you actually had me.
Confident, feeling good, but no.
Yeah. Well, there's another week. There's another week.
We'll go. It's the week for me. Bengals, Ravens, Thursday night football. Woo! Finally.
Yes.
Finally.
This is a good Thursday night game.
What has the NFL been thinking this year? I mean, we got a good game last night. In all honesty.
Yeah.
They were all one score. The Bears-Panthers was the worst game of all time.
No, I mean it was
Not
bad.
Ever.
It was bad, but I mean
16-13
is still close.
When I found out Bajent was starting, I was
I was pretty defeated.
I drove. I was on the road. It was like the first Bears game where I've ever like didn't really like. I watched it.
Yeah,
I did, and I saw the whole second half.
Yeah,
but I did was like, I can be driving. This is happening. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Fields is back this week.
I hope so. Right. They gave a positive, and
they have to. They have to bring him.
If he's not playing, I'm just like,
right.
We need to see him play.
I agree. Badgen's not. He's not all that.
Yeah, I mean, like we will see. His first year D2 guy. I mean, I think he's shown that he can maybe be a backup, and that's good. And like he is good, but like it's different. It's levels. I don't know. But yeah, good Thursday night game finally. Bengals Ravens. I think the Bengals get this one. Okay, they need it.
I think they need it too.
They're on the road. The Ravens have been tough, but the Bengals just need to they need this, and I think they get it.
I also have the Bengals. I mean the Ravens need to shake it off and play better. Last week wasn't their week.
Right.
But I think the Bengals are going to be they got to be hungry at this point. If they don't win some of these games, they're done.
Right. I mean, I think the Ravens are going to start to feel playing in the AFC North here too.
Yeah.
I mean,
a couple of these games in a row.
It's like, they'll start to wear on you.
Yeah.
Bengals. Yeah, Bengals.
I mean, you're going to need the Ravens to play at a certain level to beat the Bengals.
And part of me almost just wants the Bengals to win this to just compress them all more.
I mean, it's that race is going to get tighter. Right. I feel like at the end of the year, the race for that first spot in the AFC North is going to be really tight.
Hopefully they're all tied.
I think all 4 are going to be close.
10-7, 9-8.
Dude, that would be very fun.
Yeah, that'd be sick. All making the playoffs. And then we got another one. I mean, if you like the AFC North, you'll like this week because we also have Steelers Browns. That's a tough one. We were just talking. I think the Steelers need it.
Must win.
Really badly.
Must win.
And I think they get it too.
Okay.
I love the Steelers Browns game earlier this year. Yeah. I know a lot of people didn't like it, but I did. Mm-hmm. I thought it was fun. It was just really good defense, and it wasn't terribly boring. It was a lot of sacks, a lot of turnovers, a lot of just wacky plays. That weird play with the fumble.
Yeah,
it was a fun game, and then the TJ Watt coming in, making that play to win the game. Mm-hmm. Good game. I think the Steelers guys make more plays than the Browns guys. They get the win. Watson, crucial turnover, fumble. It's gonna be Holcomb. the other side, 56.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm seeing the opposite. I think the Browns ride some momentum. That last game was huge for their season. I don't know how many people picked the Browns to beat the Ravens, but they did, and they're riding the defense. That's what they're going to do. I think they get a defensive, gritty win.
All right. Yeah, I could see that too. I mean, it'll probably be one score, but we'll see. I'm thinking defensive touchdowns are going to happen. I think Minka might get one, honestly. Minka defensive touchdown.
Okay. Pick six or a fumble six?
Oh,
probably
pick six.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of those when he gets it in stride.
Yeah. I mean, you're not catching him. He's very fast.
I love when Minka gets an open field. He's one of my favorite players. Raiders, Dolphins in Miami. Wow. Yeah, this is probably the time where the Raiders kind of come down back to earth, but maybe the Dolphins struggle a little bit. Raiders.
I mean, they might. They're coming off the bye.
But I don't think so. I think Tyreek Hill has 200 yards. The Dolphins win.
Yeah, I've got the Dolphins. I don't know about 200 yards for him, but I think the Dolphins win.
I mean, who's covering him, though?
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Maybe Jack Jones gets the...
Oh, yeah, bring in Jones.
I don't
that's why they brought him in.
They brought him in to just stop
Tyreek.
Tyreek Hill. Yeah, Dolphins by a lot.
Yeah, definitely.
They beat up on the bad teams. That's what they're good at.
Yeah, that is what they do. They're good at it, too. Bears, Lions. This is going to be a better game than people think.
I would agree. I would like to see Justin Fields.
If Justin Fields plays, he could have quite the game on the ground. The Lions could not contain him last year at all. He was like having a very
Their defense is a little bit better this year, though.
It's definitely better, but their secondary is weaker.
Yeah.
And, I mean, Hutchinson can secure that edge a little bit. Don't get me wrong. I mean, but I think this game's just a little bit closer. The Bears defensively the last few weeks have been solid, honestly. I hate to say it, but Eberflus does have the boys going. Can we demote him to DC and just get a new head coach?
I mean...
Like,
they might.
Please.
Yeah, maybe.
Like, I don't know that. I know that would never happen, but that would literally be ideal. The defense has been better. I like they're aggressive, sometimes too aggressive on the third down blitzing, but closer game. Lions win that probably like 27-24. It'll be like a heartbreaker if you're a Bears fan who's somehow still rooting for them to win games.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many are. I mean, at this point, I mean, you could get top 2 picks.
Right.
I've got the Lions. I like the Lions a lot this year, and they showed a great fight last week, beating the Chargers in a shootout, and I like their momentum.
Yeah, Dan Campbell's saying that it's a tough game. It's just like
it is a tougher game. I mean, divisional games are not easy.
The Bears don't want to let the Lions like beat them like that too. It's like it is personal. Like it's like there's.
I mean, it could be a statement win for next year.
Yeah.
You could easily set the tone for a future season and say, hey, we've already beaten you at a better strength, and we were here.
Right, wouldn't surprise me honestly.
Okay. Yeah.
Titans, Jags.
I think this one's going to be pretty lopsided.
Jags need to turn it around, and Will Levis, if he's playing, if she is.
I think so. He was promoted as starter.
That's going to be ugly. That is not, like, Josh Allen's going to eat.
That's a tough defense to play against. And he didn't get the ball moving against the Bucs all that well.
That's just scary. That's a scary front to have to play against. Yeah. They're all big and athletic, and like they move. And like I don't know if Will Levis is.
I just think the Titans are one of those bottom 2 teams.
I guess he did play the Steelers, but they're fast. Jags have a fast defense.
Yeah, I just like the Jags here. I'm gonna say definitely.
Chargers, Packers, and Green Bay.
In Green Bay is a nice cherry on top.
Yeah, I like the Chargers definitely. I think offensively they're just way too much for the Packers. The defense, maybe lets the Packers in the game a little, but honestly, I just don't think they can score enough points. I'm thinking like 37-20.
I see the Chargers winning here too. I think this might be a better game for the Chargers defense.
Okay.
They have a couple of those a year.
Definitely.
I mean, they've had a couple moments. I think they play good this game, and they it kind of changes how the outlook of the team looks a little bit. Like they oftentimes get.
Yeah.
I'm not too sold anymore on the Packers. Like I love to root for them. 'Cause I had Love in fantasy, and I want to see him do well. And overall, I like Love. I like what he brings to the table as a quarterback. He could be their guy, But this year, it just isn't their year. So I'm taking the Chargers here, too.
It's been an ugly year for them.
It has. I mean, the hopes were up at the start of the season.
They were, especially after beating up on the Bears.
Yeah, I mean, everybody thought he was the guy.
Yeah. Cardinals, Texans. This is going to be a tough one.
This isn't as easy. Yeah, this is not as easy as you think.
The Cardinals not only have a solid defense that's well coached, they also are better on offense now with Kyler. I think he's got a pretty
and
good,
James Conner came off IR, so I mean he's a great running back.
Good connection with Hollywood Brown. Like, I'm picking the Cardinals.
Ooh,
honestly, I think that this is a game where Texans get taken by surprise. And
they've had a couple.
I think it's going to balance out their Bengals win a little bit. I think they win a good one, lose a bad one.
That would hurt. As a guy who's rooting for C.J. Stroud to win MVP, that would hurt.
I agree. I just think it's almost like some law of averages.
It really could. I mean, the Cardinals winning helps the Patriots' case for a better draft pick.
The Cardinals they're just the type of team to come in and take this.
Yeah, they are.
I can't even explain it.
Where is this game?
This is in Houston.
In Houston? I like C.J. Stroud too much. Give me the Texans.
Probably right.
There's been a lot of upsets this year. It's not as easy to just say one team's better.
You can't just do it.
Especially after what they did last week. I mean, they look good.
Yeah. Cowboys, Panthers. Ooh.
This one is not going to be a good game.
That could be 49-0, honestly.
It really could. I'd like to say the Panthers move the ball a little bit more.
I mean,
than what the Giants can do.
I mean, they'll probably score a touchdown or two or something.
Yeah.
Maybe they score 20 points.
I don't think the Cowboys put up almost 50 again either.
No, I
think they slow down a little bit.
The Panthers have a bad defense.
They do.
And they have a lot of injuries too. And they're actually at that point too where those calf pulls are calf tears.
I like the Cowboys. Yeah. I think we're in agreement there.
All right. Giants, Commanders. This one's in Washington. One of the Giants' only wins came against the Commanders. Can they do it again?
I'm gonna say no. I mean, this is the point where I was talking about earlier. If DeVito wants to show something, this is the game he would do it in.
Definitely.
I think Saquon has a great game. That run defense is just not good there. But I like the Commanders. Like we said, Sam Howell is leading the league in passing yards. I'd like to say he moves the ball a little bit here. They're still in the hunt for a playoff spot, so they're going to play with their all in this game. And I mean, not to say the Giants wouldn't want to hinder that, but I just don't know if they can.
Right. This one might be a little closer. I mean, if we had like Daniel Jones in, I think it would be interesting, kind of. But like, there's not even a formidable quarter. Like, if it was Tyrod, it would be interesting.
I would like to see Tyrod in. I would have liked to see Tyrod play all year.
But yeah, it's not. That's not the case. Mm-hmm. DeVito. I mean, the Commanders win that. Howell played awesome, and I'd like to see out of him is to not play down to the competition. You're playing a lighter defense, honestly, at this point.
Yeah.
Go score a couple of touchdowns for 250.
I would like to see that.
Yeah. Give me the Commanders. Bucks, Niners, in San Francisco. That's probably not much to say. I think that's
I think we're gonna be in agreement there.
Yeah, Niners take care of business there.
Cook.
I don't think the Bucks are gonna have too much to say. They might score a couple touchdowns.
Yeah, I think the Niners are gonna look unbeatable for a couple weeks.
Probably until they're playing the Eagles or something. Mm-hmm. They're probably not gonna lose for a while.
Yeah.
Jets, Bills in Buffalo. This is an interesting game.
Bills
have looked terrible.
They've looked really bad.
But I think they get back on track. The Jets' offense is a special kind of bad. And
they really are.
That was a weird.
I don't think Josh Allen throws 3 picks to.
Probably not.
What's his name again?
It could. And even if he does, they still.
I don't think. Yeah, I was gonna say we saw what the Broncos defense played a good game, and they still gave up almost 20 points. I forget what the final was, but they still put up points, and they were lacking that week 1 against the Jets. Don't get me wrong, but I think the Jets can play a good defensive game and still give up 17, 20 points.
Right.
And it's still more than what Zach Wilson's going to get them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like they could. It doesn't. I think that it doesn't matter how good the defense plays. The Bills find a way. there because their offense is better and like they're actually capable of moving the ball.
And this is in Buffalo. I mean, not like the Boo Birds were out for them first quarter.
It's just a game flow thing too. Like I think Buffalo will like kind of dominate the field position game.
I mean, any loss to kind of silence Aaron Rodgers, I think would help here.
It'd be cool if they could establish a run game. I mean, they literally play in Buffalo. Like that'd be cool.
I mean, I would like to see Breece Hall establish his run game. Like, they just kind of, I don't know, pass him the ball a couple times. This guy's fast.
Yeah. No, definitely. That's one of the things that I just realized is one of, like, the fundamental problems with the Buffalo Bills is that they're meant to be this air raid passing attack when they literally play in Buffalo.
Yeah.
You know, I guess that doesn't make sense. You need to have a good ground game because they're going to get dominated if they have to play the Eagles in the snow. There's nothing they'll be able to do.
Yeah.
You know, like what?
I mean, it's looking like that's a possibility. I mean, we saw that game against the Pats a couple years ago with the wind was like 40 miles an hour. You know, they couldn't really do nearly as much, and we outran them. But I mean, like, I'd like to say the Bills win here. Their offense is better.
I agree.
I think they figure something out for a little bit, but their hard part of their schedule is yet to hit.
Yeah, I like the Bills there. Yeah. Seahawks, Rams, in LA.
I mean, the Seahawks took an L last time to the Rams, first game of the year.
They did. Stafford is coming back.
Off a bye week too.
These are always kind of tougher games for the Seahawks. They kind of
in LA too.
I'm taking the Seahawks, but not confidently.
I'm in the same boat here. Like, I don't like what the output's been for the offense for the Rams. I mean, we've seen Cooper Kupp just kind of not be a factor for them. And that's not what you want to do with that offense. Come on.
No.
I mean, the scary thing is that they beat them and it was in Seattle. Like, now you're playing in LA and it's not going to be that easy. So this one's going to be a gritty game.
Right. I like the Seahawks there.
I do too.
I think they're probably a little too much. Vikings, Broncos. Josh Dobbs show goes on the road to Denver.
I'm praying just to see Justin Jefferson back, and I'd like to see what he can do with Dobbs. Dobbs been balling out.
He literally has, and I'd love to see him get a target. I mean, he's been doing this without Jefferson.
Yeah.
Give him Madison, Jefferson, Hawkinson. You know,
Osborne.
Pretty good. Osborne.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Cam Akers still in the blocks.
Yeah, I mean, is he back? Is he healthy?
I think so.
Okay.
I saw a clip of him blocking it.
Okay,
really
yeah.
good.
I know he was out 2 weeks ago. I didn't know he was already back.
Okay.
And then I think now their other guy is hurt now too.
Who?
Madison? Is he?
Madison
he was questionable. I don't know if he ever came back.
Yeah, he's, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they're in an offense that's going to be in the air anyways.
Yeah.
Fun to watch.
I like the Broncos though.
Ooh.
I think the Broncos are hot. 3 in a row.
They are hot. I'm going to argue that with, yes, they beat the Chiefs, and that was all we heard about on Monday.
Yeah.
But Mahomes kind of threw them the game. Like, you know, he just didn't. He had the flu. I'm not using that as an excuse because MJ did what he did with the flu. But I'm just saying he had the flu. It's an excuse. Then they beat the Bills, but the Bills beat the Bills. Like, they literally handed them everything they could. And yes, there was an amazing play by Cortland Sutton. Like, that improbable. And Russ threw it, and while being fallen down and almost sacked. I still just don't think their offense is where it should be for them to actually beat the Vikings.
Russ is back for me. The Broncos confused me so much.
Yes, they confused me too.
Because going into the year, I was like, there's just no way that, like, when they were like 1-6, when they were playing the Bears, I was like, there's no way this is what the Broncos are. And then they kind of came back and they won that game. Yeah. And that was like understated. That was good.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, and Russell Wilson, maybe it's just against the bad teams, but he's doing something. And the Vikings have a bad defense.
Yeah, I mean, Russ is playing better. The Vikings defense, low-key, starting to get underrated because they've made some plays. I mean, like, they were talked about being bad, but they were playing some tougher teams when they gave up massive points. So I am intrigued to see what the Vikings defense can do. And to the same, too, I'd like to see what the Broncos defense can do. I mean, like, these are two offenses that have been clicking.
No, they definitely have. The Vikings have some guys for sure. It's just a lot of the holdovers. It's like an older I don't expect them to play well, but they do make plays. Like Daniil Hunter, good player. Pat Pete, solid. But I think the Broncos win a close game there.
I mean, I've got the opposite. I mean, Justin Jefferson comes back. That helps the case. But, I mean, even without him, they've been playing really good.
Right.
And Dobbs is so new to the system, and to see what they're getting, that's like a really good sign. I like the Vikings.
All right. Cool. That was on Sunday night, by the way.
Yeah, that's a Sunday night. I like that. Primetime games this week are really good.
And then we get a Super Bowl rematch on Monday night.
Yes, I was about to say, this one's what everybody's excited for.
Eagles-Chiefs.
Eagles-Chiefs. Both coming off bye.
Yes,
this is going to be a really good football game.
I wonder if it was coordinated that both the Kelseys are on bye, and then Travis is in Argentina. I'm so glad I traded him in fantasy. While Travis was in Argentina, Keenan was scoring 40.5 for me against the guy that traded him to me.
Oh, my goodness.
It was just throwing salt in the wound.
That's crazy.
I felt like $1 million, though.
I mean, Keenan Allen's been playing on a different level this year.
He's awesome. I knew I get the drama out. I didn't want anything to do with Taylor.
I get that. I mean, I still think Travis Kelce is going to be the best tight end.
Oh, yeah. No, but I have no tight ends in my league.
Yeah, I know. I know your league's. I know your league's different. I agree. That's a good trade.
Keenan. I got Rashad White in that trade and DeAndre Hopkins.
D-Hop sucks.
I know.
Fantasy-wise, I've had to start him the last 2 weeks.
D-Hop had that one good game.
Yeah, and I had to start him the next 2 weeks.
I didn't have him. I got options, though. I got some options.
Mine have all been on bye. That's neither here or there. I like the Eagles this week. I really do. Super Bowl rematch, I think they get the better of the Chiefs.
Probably. Man, that's tough. The Eagles have been very tough this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, give me the Eagles here. And then the Chiefs might get them again, though, in the playoffs. The Eagles deserve it, though. The Eagles might win the Super Bowl.
Honestly, like, I feel like the bigger Super Bowl, and this is early in the season, so, like, I'm not saying it will be. I think the bigger Super Bowl game is going to be the NFC Championship game.
Yeah, like Eagles-Niners. We got gypped last year.
Yes, we did. And I think even, like, this year, both teams are better.
Yeah.
Like, we are on pace for, like, a monumental clash.
I can't wait. I was so excited for that game last year, and
yeah.
Just the fact,
and I mean, we're getting it again. I mean, it's probably going to be in Philly. Like, the Eagles keep winning games. It's going to be in Philly.
Yeah, it's looking like it's going to be in Philly.
Yeah.
I don't see the Eagles losing to, like, normal teams.
It's going to be tough. Like, it's going to be tough.
Who'd they lose to? The Commanders again?
No, they lost to the Jets, of all teams.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. For the first time in franchise history.
That was so weird.
So, yeah, I mean, this is shaped up to be another really good week of football.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely.
So,
excited to see.
I am very excited to see what we're going to get this week.
I am too. Going into some NBA.
Yeah, let's talk basketball. We haven't done it in a couple weeks. I'm really excited to talk about a little bit here and there.
Talk about Philly is killing it.
With top of the East.
Players. Maxey dropped 50 the other night, and they've been getting just good production out of Batum, DeAndre Melton.
I mean, they've won the trade.
Anthony Melton.
Yeah,
Rocco, Pat Bev. It's just they're just doing it.
They're just doing it. I mean, they beat my Celtics. I'm that hurt, but they're playing really good. I don't know if they sustain this all year.
Yeah.
But I think getting rid of Harden was a big thing for them.
Best thing they could have done, and they needed to too.
Yeah.
Like, man. That rant that Mavs commentator went on about, he went in on him.
It was so funny that it was the Mavs guy who did it too. Like, no correlation to either team.
Yeah, I was wondering. I was thinking, because they tell you, like, are you the right person to say it? What was he thinking?
Right?
Like, you're just some nobody. And that's what James Harden's probably interpreting it as. But he's right.
Yes.
Like, James Harden, like, every time he has demanded a trade after he gets exactly what he wants, and he was treated like a king in Houston.
Yeah.
He literally, could just go to the strip club after, stay a couple nights, It didn't matter. Like, he could be 20 pounds overweight.
And I mean, he would drop 50.
Yeah.
It was a good system for him.
He could drop 50 because their offense was James Harden ISO.
Yeah. And I mean, he was shooting like 40, 50 shots a game.
Yeah,
yes,
literally.
that played a part. But he couldn't beat the Golden State, and like that was the problem.
Right.
He might have made it to the finals had it not been for Golden State.
Right. And then he goes to Brooklyn. He gets with his buddies. He gets with KD, and it just doesn't not work out. And he needs to get out. And then it's like, okay, that one was like just weird.
It was just it's like a fever dream now.
So then you get into Philly, and you're a point guard now. You're just a pure point guard.
Pure.
That's what you do. You pass the ball now, and you're doing that. But then we learn at the end of the season that you were mad that you were doing that, and that you want to be traded away from Joel Embiid, the best center,
MVP,
pure center, because Jokic is a little different.
Jokic is an alien at this point.
You want to be traded away from the pick and roll king.
It's very interesting, and I think it's a fun turnabout because he goes to the Clippers and he hasn't won a game.
Yeah, I mean, that's not going to work. I mean, what's their plan? Like a Harden dribble drive and a kick out to
And I mean, like,
Paul
everything
George?
I'm seeing of his has not been great. You know, like a lot of air balls, a lot of these step-up threes.
What about this is better for Harden? Like, you could just be doing pick and rolls with Embiid and then kicking it out to real shooters, you know? But
I don't know. I mean, I guess on paper, you want to play with Paul George and Kawhi. Like, they're great players.
I mean, maybe in like 2018.
But that's the thing. We're talking about 2023 here. I would rather play with Maxey and Embiid.
Those are better players right now.
Right now, honestly. They're going to play more.
Like, I mean, Paul George, like, they're still good, but availability is your best ability.
Yeah, I was about to say, it's a big factor with those, especially those two players. Yeah. I mean, they're in and out of injury.
That team's a mess, and it's just, like, that's not even a team. Like, that is not, this is what I mean. Like, the NBA has all these teams that are not teams. And, like, the ones that are teams, like, actually play well. Like, the ones that have been together for a while, except for the Bulls.
The Bulls are crumbling, man.
They suck.
I just saw that both sides, Zach LaVine and the Bulls, have thought about finding a trade now. They've both approved it.
Well, it's gotten to this point where it's so far gone.
Yeah, and then like, DeMar's on the last year of his deal. He'll just walk after this year.
DeMar is just...
I love DeMar.
I like him as a human being.
Come on. Did you see that, like, spin move he did to kick it out to Kobe White for a 3?
That's good. I just like DeMar is not a complete black hole, but like...
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Like, he just gets the ball and then takes a step back mid-ranger. I mean, it's not even a 3.
I just don't know why that team doesn't have a winning record.
I do. It's because Zach LaVine and DeMar don't work well together.
But like, think of that though. Like, if you played 2K with that team, you're winning 60 games.
They were a good 2K team with Lonzo.
Yeah.
And Vooch. Like that was like I loved playing 2K with that. And they worked with Lonzo because Lonzo could get both the guys.
Yeah, that's true.
And an even amount.
It's fair.
With them both, they both have huge egos, and for different reasons. LaVine has a big ego because he's just like kind of a shot creator. He hits it, and like he needs the ball in his hands too.
Yeah.
And like getting DeMar didn't make sense because you're taking the ball out of LaVine's hands, and I almost never don't want it in LaVine's hands. And like they need
he's
a point
just
guard.
such a good player. I know like, Lonzo needs to come back. They need him healthy.
He's unfortunately not.
I don't know when that timetable
out for the
is.
year.
Is it confirmed? Because he said don't believe that.
Oh, he said not to believe.
He said not to believe that. Because there was reports of him not being able to walk.
Well, yeah, I heard that he was gonna be like Brandon Roy.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know, and I don't even know who they would go for to try to fix that problem. But it seems like they're just gonna blow it up.
I think I'm just jaded. Like even when they tell me Lonzo Ball is coming back and it's confirmed, I'm still just not gonna believe it. Until I
mean, how many? It's been what, a year and a half?
It's been it was beginning of 2022.
Like man, oh man, he's just like. He's a fun player to even have. Like, look at what LaMelo does night to night.
No, it's going to be 2 years in January.
Wow.
2 years.
That's crazy.
No, because it was 4 to 6 freaking weeks.
Yeah.
And
it was.
I was so excited. The Bulls had the 1 seed.
Yeah.
That was the last time basketball was fun. This is why I'm at this point as a Bulls fan. Just because it's gone this bad, and I just watched them devolve, and like I saw those looks LaVine would give DeMar when this started to happen. And
where do you think he goes if traded? I heard a really good team that like piques my interest.
What do you got?
OKC.
That would make sense.
Wouldn't that be fun?
What are they giving us? They
picks?
Can give us some of them.
A lot of picks.
Some of their weird prospects they got. Too.
Just imagine Shai, Giddey, Chet, and LaVine.
That makes sense. And part of me, I really like LaVine, and
I do too.
I almost feel attached to him at this point.
Yeah.
I want him to go somewhere that like makes me feel comfortable, and OKC would make me feel comfortable.
Right.
I don't want him going to like LA for some reason.
If LA gets him, I would hate the Bulls forever. Like I'm just so sick of that.
Don't want him going to the Lakers like at all.
It's what every player gets. It's so annoying.
He might go to the Nuggets. Like, I don't know if the Nuggets have the assets. They'd have to give
that's the
like,
thing.
If they're willing to give up, like, MPJ or something, I don't think they're about that.
I don't think they would be, but I still think they'd lose that trade.
Yeah.
I just think the Bulls are in a situation where they want to get as much out.
Yeah.
They're not going to trade him unless it's a good offer.
Right. Like,
they don't have to.
a lot of value. Mm-hmm. Like, LaVine's literally a baller.
He's really, really good.
Yeah.
But I wanted to ask you as a Bulls fan.
Yeah, I mean, it sucks that it's gotten to this point, but I also recognize that we're wasting his career.
Yeah.
So, and I want the best for him, honestly. It's tough that it couldn't work out with Markkanen and LaVine. Like, they had a solid core, honestly.
Yeah, they do.
And they had Wendell Carter, too. And Kobe White could have been a good
I know. I thought he was going to be better. I mean, he's just kind of quiet.
This would have worked.
Still young.
Lonzo and Vooch, you should have stopped there.
Yeah.
And, like, you could have never knew Lonzo would have gotten hurt. But bringing DeMar in, it didn't make sense to the team that they had built at that point.
That's fair.
And like, it hasn't worked. And it's not a huge surprise. Like, I was a little excited when they got DeMar, another score. But deep down, I knew. You know?
I mean, sometimes it is too many chefs in the kitchen.
Alpha.
Yeah.
You need an alpha, and that was LaVine. LaVine was the alpha, and then DeMar comes in, and it's hard. It blurred the line.
Yeah.
Because, like,
I get that. I do get that because I look at what the Celtics were a couple of years ago, and you had a lot of people who thought they were the guy. Kyrie, Terry Rozier.
It's a problem.
Yeah, it is. And I mean, like, even now you would think, all right, well, who's the alpha? It's Jason Tatum. Right. It's his team.
And I think Jaylen Brown recognizes
Jaylen Brown knows that. Drew Holiday knows that.
Right.
And Porzingis praises that.
Right.
You know, like, they all know their place, which is really nice to hear.
Right. You need that. You need people, like, a pecking order.
Yeah.
Almost. Like, and it's
yeah.
like, it's so important in basketball because there is a time where somebody's going to have the ball and take in the last shot. And there are going to be egos after the fact, like, that are upset.
You miss,
that they
and then
didn't take the shot.
I was about to say.
And as a Bulls fan, it's infuriating when DeMar DeRozan is taking a three-pointer because of his ego when Zach LaVine shoots 12% better than him. And that's why they're not a good team.
Yeah.
You know, because they have ego problems, honestly. And that's why I don't watch the games.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, that's fair.
It's like I got to find a new team because they're not a team.
Hop on the Celtics, man.
I
We're
like
great.
the Celtics, honestly, as a local guy. Like, it's cool. It's cool that the Celtics are good. I appreciate that we have a good team in the area.
Yeah.
I hope that the Bucks and the Celtics can play. I think the Bucks have kind of been struggling to figure it out a little bit.
But they still have a good record. You know, like, they're not. I think they have 3 losses or 4, but
6-4.
Yeah, 6-4.
Early. I mean, 6-4 is a good record too. Shout out to the Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton. And if I'm going to take a team, it would probably be the Pacers because I love Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, he's a dog.
Like, probably my favorite player right now.
He is so much fun to watch.
He's
and
so
like
fun.
I was in a fantasy draft for basketball and they were like, Halliburton. I'm like, how do you not know who this is? I thought he was high. I thought he was high for projections for the season, but like, no, he's a really good player.
Well, how much is he averaging? 11?
He's got to be up there.
That wouldn't surprise me.
No, because I mean, he's just a scorer, playmaker. Like, he's just an all-around really good player.
He averages 12.2 assists.
Like, come on,
game
come
and
on.
23.8 on 50, 40, 90.
But like, consider that if those were all just twos, that's 22 more points, and they're not just twos or 24 more points.
Tyrese Halliburton is like low-key the best guard in the NBA. I mean, I know that's crazy.
I can't go that far, but
who's playing more efficient basketball?
Steph Curry.
Yeah.
Luka. Those two pop in my head.
I know they're better, but I'm just saying,
stats-wise, that's great.
Who is benefiting their team more than Tyrese Halliburton?
Yeah.
And like, like, you can hit the threes are big, but like, I don't think he turns the ball over.
No, I don't think so either. I give him credit.
He's the perfect player.
Yeah, I mean, who wouldn't want him? And he's like, under 25 years old.
Like, when you're doing a my career, you know, and you make yourself a point guard.
Yeah.
Like, this is what he is.
Yeah.
You know? He's awesome. Yeah, so he's on 51.7 from the field. I saw 40.9 from 3, and he's a 95% free throw shooter.
Yeah, he's great at the line.
He's literally the perfect freaking player.
Yeah.
That's awesome. The Kings are wild for trading the generational player that they did for Domantas Sabonis. Like, he's good at the time.
I agree.
But
I agree.
you need to like see that.
Imagine
Halliburton is like.
Could you imagine?
Famer, you know, like they would have been good, but I mean, it would have been weird with Fox. But picking De'Aaron Fox over Tyrese Halliburton is also crazy.
That is true.
Is also crazy. And
I like Fox too.
People knew even Halliburton's rookie year he was doing this.
Yeah,
he was doing this then. So
I mean, it was a win-win because I mean, I'm not saying like they didn't win the trade, but like look at what the Kings have done since too. Like it's not like
I think like maybe in the short term it can be seen that way, but when we look at it like from the lens of like
but they needed a Sabonis.
Yeah, they needed a center, but Halliburton was just too good.
Yeah.
And I want to link this like funky diabetic video that I was watching at the time of the trade, and he was dead on, and it was like, you can't do this. This is like trading Kobe Bryant. Like you just can't do it. Yeah. Like I don't know, and you can't before he even flourished. He's my favorite. I think the Pacers are my team. For my second, I've talked myself into it. You're like, oh, go Celtics. Yeah. Oh, nah, Pacers are the guys. The Pacers are so great. Fun, honestly. And it's just that one player.
All right, well, we'll get together for a Celtics-Pacers game, and we'll put them in their place. I think when we played them, we blew them out. I'm not sure if we already played them.
I mean, the Pacers ultimately don't have as much going, but it's just the one team.
Oh, we did. We put up like a record number against them.
I remember. Yeah, 156 or something. Yeah, I remember.
I'm like, did we? Yes, we did.
I remember and I remember thinking like, damn, these Pacers. But now I'm looking at the record, and it's like
it's just the Celtics.
They're not at that. Like the Celtics are a super team, but oh man, it's like almost like it's like the corporation. Like everything goes to the big ones because everybody only wants to win, and then there's all these like bad ones like everywhere.
Well, I want to shout out two teams out west that are playing really good. One is the Timberwolves. That team, I kind of had a feeling was going to figure something out.
Anthony Edwards is awesome.
Dude, I love Anthony Edwards. How could you not, dude? This guy just shows up and balls out.
Like he's like a kid too.
He's so young, and he plays up. Like he's super mature. Yeah. I mean, he talks shit and everything, but he's just great at playing basketball, and they've got pieces there. But the other team I want to shout out, which I don't know how many people thought this team was going to be where they're at. The Rockets?
6-3.
Ime Udoka.
They're terrible. I mean, you look at the West, it's on its head. You know, the Rockets are up there, the Thunder too.
I like the Thunder though. I think they do deserve a spot up there.
The Rockets are on a 6-game winning streak.
Yes. Right now. Yes, they are.
They're a fun team. Dylan Brooks, they were getting clowned so
hard. Dude, I couldn't understand that.
Yeah.
He's a Draymond player, so people hate that kind of build. It was
the reputation.
But, he can ball. Like, I don't know why that was just forgotten about.
I'll say, too, it was casuals that were screaming about Dylan Brooks. And he was really unlikable, but
he was
trying to be unlikable, too. Like, that's his shtick.
Did you see what he did against LeBron? Like, I know he wasn't just, pure coverage, but, he said, I'm going to lock him down, and then they blew out the Lakers.
Yeah, and he did. And LeBron gave him props after the game, too. He was like, he's well-deserving, the kind of good defender.
He's got, a villain arc, but, you got to admit.
This would get you killed, saying this a couple months ago. Everybody was out for Dylan Brooks' head, and I was starting to get even, affected by it. I feel like I was starting to even question, but, it's like,
no, he's a good defender.
Yeah, absolutely.
And in a league of good defense too, because there's a lot of good defenders. He's one of the best.
Yeah, and the Mavs too. I'm shocked.
Yeah, I mean they've made the right additions this offseason. Now it's not to say they're gonna go off in the playoffs and do great things. We still got to see if Luka and Kyrie can coexist.
I don't know at how well it's.
But
working.
They're playing really well right now.
I think Grant Williams was a really smart addition.
I mean, he's just a good all-around player. He plays defense. He hits his threes. He's shooting career-high 3% right now.
Yeah, Tim Hardaway, Seth Curry.
Yeah.
Good shooters.
Who's that rookie they have, too? Lively? I don't know his first name. He's playing really good.
Yeah, Derek Lively.
Yes. Center. He's playing really good.
He is a good center.
Yeah.
The Mavs got some things going, and I'm glad they could figure that out. Christian Wood was it was honestly comical to me how bad of a signing. The Mavs were literally about as bad as you could make a basketball team last year. Just
they were.
Not even in the terms of talent because they did have talented players. But
it was
like,
pretty comical watching them trade for Kyrie and miss the playoffs.
Yeah, it was like watching like a 6th grader construct a basketball team. And like, yeah, this guy's good. Christian Wood, he has an 82 overall in 2K. Like, let me grab him. Like,
I do like Christian Wood too.
No, I like him, but he just wasn't good for the
No,
Mavs.
he wasn't for
like,
them.
It just did not make sense. Like, they needed a defensive center, you know, and they were just like, all right, let's grab him. But I got some fun stats.
All right, I want to hear these. You were hyping these up.
I got some good ones. They're not crazy, but they're good.
I'm ready to hear these.
My first one is Cade Cunningham has 54 turnovers on the year, and that's 11 more than the next guy is Giannis at 43. So Cade is turning the ball over at a very high clip.
Okay, that's alarming if you're a Pistons fan.
It is alarming. Rookie point guard type things. Second year. But, you know, young point guard type things, but not good. And then I had a vendetta. I was thinking, what's the worst possible thing you could happen if you were playing basketball at the at the rec center or something?
Yeah.
Just a guy that takes the ball and shoots it every time. And then I was like, that's the Wizards. Jordan Poole and Kuzma are the worst people to play with. And then I looked at who has the worst plus minus in the NBA, and it's 1, 2, 3. Jordan Poole, Tyus Jones, Kyle Kuzma.
Wow.
1, 2, 3. Worst plus minus in the league. That's their starters have the worst plus minus. Yeah, they're playing the minutes, but it wasn't a surprise. It was like I'm expecting to see Jordan Poole and Kuzma, and I saw Jordan Poole and Kuzma.
That's
worst plus minus.
Yeah, I mean, like, they don't pass the ball often.
No.
And, like, I mean, they're just shooters.
Big egos. Yeah. I would be like, there's that famous clip of Avdia calling for the ball and then Poole taking the step back.
Yes.
And then he drains it. But like that is so symbolic because that literally is.
But I mean, like, I'm watching a lot of their clips and they aren't hitting. Like, Kuzma's been a little quieter than last year, but Poole's been taking the shots. I love the clip of him thinking he could just lure Porzingis to sleep and he just gets swatted. I don't think this is a match made in heaven. Like, this team isn't great.
Jordan Poole as I wanted this to happen a little bit.
Yes, you were saying.
Because I wanted to, Jordan Poole is like a volume sort of shooter. And he had those moments for the Warriors, but him as a best player, these 6 for 16, 6 for 14, 3 for 12, 5 for 13, 8 for 23. They're going to keep piling up because not a surprise, and it's not a surprise that the good team wanted to get him out.
Yeah. I mean, the egos were coinciding there.
The biggest thing.
That was a big one.
Kuzma and Jordan Poole got. It's just funny that he's with Kuzma.
I do think that's pretty interesting.
Brook Lopez is minus 54.
Really?
Year. Was Defensive Player of the Year candidate last year, but he is one of the worst in terms of plus minus.
Yeah, the Bucks got to figure something out because they aren't playing well.
I think it's the rotation with Brook Lopez is not working defensively, and I think the absence of Drew Holiday probably has a lot to do with that. That's an interesting one. Andrew Wiggins is in a shooting slump, and he is 18 of 36 on free throws for the year.
Ooh.
Struggling. He had the...
That's not going to help because I just saw Steph Curry is dealing with some sort of knee problem. Okay. He's only going to miss a little bit of time, but...
Yeah, that'll affect him because Wiggins has not been the scorer they were expecting, and I think that's part of why they felt so comfortable getting rid of Jordan Poole was because of how Wiggins was playing for them, but he was dealing with the personal thing last year. I was trying to look into what that was. They said it was a health concern with his father, but I remember hearing some other things. I don't know. And then... Yeah, that's it for my stats.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you were telling me it was the worst team in the league is, and I was trying to figure it out. That's not what I thought, and that is just really alarming as a basketball observer.
Yes.
That's alarming. Yeah. That catches me off guard.
The Wizards are just not gonna work. It's just not gonna work. I mean. Tyus Jones, and then they don't have talent outside of that. They don't have any scorers, capable scorers.
Washington's in a rough spot. It's fair to say.
There's nothing.
Yeah, I mean they had Porzingis last year, and I just
I mean
they
I
weren't
would
that
be
great.
So down if I was a Wizards fan because if I think it's bad watching the Bulls, which it is. Mm-hmm. This is that's the worst. I think that's rock bottom. It can't get any worse than that.
That's pretty bad. And I mean, I wouldn't want to be in that position. Like they were good. You flashback a couple years ago, man. Like the Bradley Beal era and John Wall. Like they were a top team.
I honestly laughed when that trade.
But that's how fast basketball flips. Like you look at these teams that were really good. I mean, like the Pacers are lucky. They've gone up and down so much, and to be like in a good spot after you go through so much, like it's not something that's that
Warriors.
No, I was saying the Pacers.
Oh, the Pacers, yeah.
Where, like, that team has, like, had its moments, they shine, and then next thing you know, they suck. And then, they get the right player out of nowhere.
Right. Yeah, no, absolutely. It takes one guy. I mean, they got to do what they can to lock him up,
Yeah, right?
He's the guy.
He's definitely the guy.
They're up on the Sixers right now in the first quarter. Maybe they win that,
I would like that.
We will see.
Yeah.
And that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Blowout Sports Podcast. Thank you very much for joining us. This was Ryan Hayes.
I'm Dylan Bracha.
We'll see you next time.
Peace.